guys, Dr. Ben here. Let's go over autoimmune conditions. And this is something that it's rampant. Research shows up to 15% of the US population has autoimmune diseases. For women, they're 8 times more likely to have an autoimmune condition than a man. And why are some people actually able to reverse their autoimmune conditions? This is one of the first things that got me into functional medicine in the first place. My mom in high school, when I was in high school, she got diagnosed with MS, and she went down that path of medications, all these issues, trying to deal with it the traditional medical route, and ended up going on disability. My dad retired. They moved to this small town down in Missouri, and the doctor there started working on her. Even before they called it functional medicine, started going through system by system by system and getting her body unwound emotionally, physically, all this stuff, to the point where she gave away her wheelchair, gave away her cane, got off all her medication, and she's 78. It's like 20 years later and still in remission, and she doesn't have MS anymore. So I've seen this throughout my life, throughout my career, and how are other people, whether that's rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or Hashimoto's or alopecia, people are growing their hair back, all of these different things, how are they changing those and reversing those? And that's what I want to show you today. So welcome. Pop down below where you guys are watching from. If you've got some type of autoimmune condition, let us know as well, and I'll let you know what kind of success we've seen with some of those. Hey Janie, great to see you. So this is my thought process. Anybody that's got autoimmune, I think about it like they are right here in this middle. So they've got autoimmune, and it doesn't matter what the named autoimmune is. So it could be MS like my mom, it could be thrombocytopenia like my wife, and then they took out her spleen. It could be rheumatoid or lupus or Sjogren's or Crohn's, colitis, all these different autoimmune conditions. There are 190 named autoimmune conditions out there. Third leading cause of death when you lump them all together. Holly, great to see you in Nebraska. We got Melissa in Iowa. Great to see you guys. Pop down below where you're watching from. We've got South Africa and Ireland and all over the place people watching. So love to see you guys. So when we start thinking about autoimmune, it doesn't really matter which one is in there. So some people, their ANA comes back positive. We just had this yesterday, and they're like, what do you think it is? Well, all my sisters have Sjogren's. Maybe it's Sjogren's, or it could be lupus, or it could be these different things. Hey, Jonathan there in Kentucky, good to see you. So for autoimmune, we've got to think about it like all of these little offshoots off of the body is going haywire. So the body is attacking its own tissue, and why is it actually doing that? Hey, Melanie in South Carolina, why is it actually attacking its own tissue? And these are the things that we look at that can really be driving this autoimmune activity. One of the first ones is the adrenal glands. And we can have stress of 2 different kinds. We can have a chronic stress. Somebody's in a bad, hey Janie, great to see you there. Somebody can be in a bad, stressful relationship or job or any of those different things. And that can be part of what's driving the adrenals, or it can be a one-time major stressor. I had a patient a long time ago. She was at there was a shooting at a office in Virginia like 20 years ago, and she was actually there and held somebody as they were shot and bleeding and all this stuff. So she had a one-time adrenal stressor that can really do it. So the adrenals, a lot of people are like, yeah, I was fine until I had to deal with helping mom as she died or anything like that. So that's one of them. Blood sugar is another thing that is a crucial part of calming down, helping to reverse, repair, restore, however you want to think about it with autoimmune. Blood sugar, every time the blood sugar goes up too high or too low, it revs up that immune response and we destroy more tissue. So what does that mean? You've got to keep your blood sugar as steady as possible. That's why I started glucose monitoring years ago with patients, because I'm like, I can't just guess anymore. I can't just go, well, low glycemic fruits are okay. Some people it is, some people it aren't. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Pop down below where you're watching from, but also if you've got autoimmune that you're dealing with, pop that down, or somebody you know. I mean, it's rampant how many we see out there. Blood sugar, we also say number one stressor to the adrenal glands are blood sugar swings. So we've got to stabilize that blood sugar. It's absolutely crucial there. Vitamin D. Not only does somebody need to be 60 to 80 with their vitamin D if they've got autoimmune, it needs to be closer to that 80 on everybody. So get your vitamin D tested. Don't ask how much vitamin D do I need to take. You need to test. Otherwise, you might need 2,000 or you might need 20,000. We just don't know. Hey, Tina there in Washington. Good to see you. So vitamin D, absolutely crucial. You can take it orally, you can get outside, get more sun. Whatever you're doing, you've got to retest and make sure it's getting up where it needs to be. Then we've got what is called leaky gut. And somebody was asking the other day, does everybody have leaky gut? And I go, no, not everybody. But of everybody that's got autoimmune, almost everybody has leaky gut. So even if it's 99%, that 1% is still gonna do better if we work on the leaky gut. Leaky gut is going to be that gut lining, and we're not keeping the bad stuff out of the bloodstream, and so it gets in, and instead of, I think about, shooting a little squirrel with a BB gun, keeps eating your bird food out of the bird feeder, and so you go shoot that little squirrel. Instead, Sherry, I have an autoimmune problem. Yeah, it's rampant out there. Instead, you get out the bazooka and you go, and it blows up the whole thing. And it'd be a guy doing that. And so the wife runs over and goes, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" And there was a squirrel eating out of the bird feeder. Why'd you use a rocket launcher? That's what happens with autoimmune. So if that gut lining is damaged, we're going to have this problem where we're getting things in and creating this huge inflammatory cascade. So we've got to fix that gut lining. Infections. Jamie said she's dealing with Epstein-Barr, some different things. So chronic infections are going to stimulate that autoimmune response, and they are going to be driving this overreaction in the body. So it can be chronic Epstein-Barr, chronic viruses of different kinds. It can be H. pylori, bacterial infections in the gut, a lot of different things where it's just keeping that immune system at this constant toil is a huge, huge part of it. So those chronic infections, estrogenic events. And estrogenic event, what is that? Well, having a baby. A lot of women, if somebody comes in and says, I was fine until X, Y, or Z, but especially after having that baby and that second, third, fourth baby, whatever it was, I was never the same. It's usually autoimmune that is going on inside of their body. Estrogenic events going through puberty. We found 3 teenage girls last year in the same month with Hashimoto's, autoimmune thyroid. They had this revved up immune reaction stimulated by going through puberty, going on birth control, going through hormone replacement therapy, going through menopause, any of these different estrogenic events. One of the big reasons why it's 8 times more likely for women to get autoimmune than men. Estrogenic events, then we get into environmental issues. So environmental issues would be like somebody moves into a moldy house. Somebody's working around heavy metals or chemicals or toxins, different things that are going to keep that immune system in this revved up state is going to be constantly driving that as well. If you've got Hashimoto's or a number of other ones, gluten or other food allergies are very, very common in there to stimulate that as well. So if it's gluten, then we're going to be dealing with this exaggerated response, and it's going to even last up to 6 months. If you have Hashimoto's, every time you eat gluten, it can stimulate that autoimmune reaction for upwards of 6 months. It's amazing. Hey Leslie, good to see you there. Down on a whole different continent. Good to see you. So these are some of the basic, it doesn't sound basic, right, as I go through all this. Karen, are these all identified through blood work, such as chronic viral infections? Yes. So Karen, what you want to look for in that blood work is lymphocytes and white blood cells, and possibly even liver enzymes are the things that we look for in that blood work. So yes, that almost all of these can be seen and picked up through exam, blood work, everything that we do day in and day out with patients. So these, for me, I've talked about it, written about everything so much that I can kind of say that it's a basic thing, but it really is. We have to go back to the basics. A lot of people want to go into genetic testing and poop testing and saliva and all these different things, but if their blood sugar is jacked up, they're going to continue to destroy more tissue. If you haven't truly fixed up that leaky gut, if you haven't dealt with infections, you can go into all these fancy little supplements and all these different things, but unless you fix that underlying why, you are not going to fix the problem, and you're not going to get this uncovered as to how we're going to help reverse and repair this. Hey Valerie, good to see you there in Jersey. So if you've got questions on that, direct message us or pop those down below. We're going to be having the live Q&A tomorrow, 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So if you've got some autoimmune questions, anything about this, go ahead and bring those. Also, if you put in to be on our email list, check your junk mail, because a lot of people have said that this last round went to junk mail. Unfortunately, not sure why that happened compared to some of our first emails. So check that one, bring it back into the regular mail, and that should, we're going to have another one go out tomorrow, so that should start on a regular basis to come into that regular mail. So autoimmune is fixable. Can it ever truly 100% go away? Hard to say. For my mom, it's been 20 years and she doesn't have MS anymore. She doesn't have any plaquing on her spine. She does what she needs to do, keeps it at bay, and she's doing great. And so, Janie, my vitamin D is low 30s. Should I be taking daily? Yes. So 60 to 80 is ideal. And so if you're in the low 30s, you need to be in that 60 to 80 if somebody has autoimmune. For our patients, we like them to get up to 80 in there as well. So keep an eye on that one. If you've got any other questions, drop us a line. Autoimmune is complicated. There's a lot going on, but really it's not. You've got to fix the basics, and you've got to just go through step by step through that process. So let me know if you've got any questions. Love seeing you guys. I think this is, if we could fix these on everybody, these things here, we could reverse and repair 90% of autoimmune out there. It's that amazing, and the body can heal. So you're welcome, Karen. Great to see you. All right, guys, take care. Make it a great day and stay strong out there.